just to look at life, you look at life so differently. You don't take anything for granted. And the way she looks at things, she turns her head, she's looking at things in a different perspective than we do, I would say. And it's beautiful to watch.
It's kind of neat how she might not communicate verbally, but she does it through her feelings and the way you just see so much joy in her eyes. And I've only met her for about 15 minutes, and I see that on her. She's a very happy little girl.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thanks for joining us on episode 2 of the Go Shout Love podcast. You're going to fall in love with our September feature. Her name is Sofia, and she lives in Franklin, Massachusetts. She has a diagnosis of Pitt Hopkins Syndrome, a neuro-developmental disorder with only about 1,000 diagnosed cases worldwide. In this episode, Jessica chats with Sofia's parents, Tyler and Stefanie Izzi. They describe the power of Sofia's kisses, share some of the significant inchstones they've celebrated along Sofia's journey, and share a surprising connection of our shirt design with their family's story. Be sure to pick up your Sofia-inspired Hang On to Hope t-shirt and a beautiful illustration by the talented Monique Dong from our website at goshout.love. All purchases from our shop in September will benefit Sofia and her family. You can also choose to join us in shouting love for our families every month through our monthly t-shirt subscription. Thanks for listening and being such an awesome community of shouters.
When she was about 6 months old, that's when you first started seeing some changes in her, that she wasn't doing some of the things that she should have been doing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I met this girl who was 2 days older than Sofia at swim class. So I think that was one of the things that stood out to me, because they were, days apart, and she was already crawling. And I think one of the biggest things, she was reaching out for her mom and to help her stand and help her do things. And this was between 7 and 8 months. And Sophia was not even close to grabbing my hand and reaching for me. And it was kind of heartbreaking too, because I was like, why? I was like, when is she going to reach for me, And I would say that was kind of a flag for me. I was to watch this one girl that was doing so much more than Sofia.
Interactive.
She did have an older brother, so, people say, but there was just something different. And sometimes it would, I'd come home and I'd get a little upset about it, and I'd say, why isn't she doing this? That's when I would say that's what kind of really started sparking my concern.
And I'm sure it was kind of that mom instinct that you had, and I'm sure people might have told you, well, she'll learn.
She'll catch up.
But instinctively, you knew that there might be something different.
So the day she did reach for my hand, and it was recently, it was probably only a couple months ago, well after she was 2, and was one of the happiest little moments ever, because it was something I've longed for, because, I want her to reach for me, I want her to grab onto me, and now she gives the best kisses in the world, and I'm sure you'll see later, they're very
Julian. She grinds her teeth.
She grabs onto your face, and
they're violent, but
they're violent, but they're so loving.
That's amazing. Just bringing us way back to the beginning, what I thought was fascinating was how you were talking about the markings, because that the doctor was looking at, I'm sure you never thought to look for that kind of stuff.
I thought her toes were
the cutest thing.
We just thought they were
the cutest
marking?
Thing in the world. Is there something?
We can show you her toes after, but also they kind of go over.
One
they
of her
overlap.
toes overlaps like that.
And then she has
significant pads.
Yeah, they're pads.
On on the tips of her fingers and her toes. Her big
But
toes.
did you notice the pads when?
Yeah, we did.
We
but
did.
But
We
you
thought
probably-
they would just kind of like when she started walking.
That's what our doctor said.
Oh,
They would
yeah.
kind of flatten out, but it's actually...
The line on the palm, we didn't notice until he pointed that out. And then was it the sacral dimple? It's basically like, instead of having where her bum crack is at the top, it's a Y.
Yeah.
And that's I guess very significant.
And they're beginning to actually, now that we've talked, like a few moms have brought it up, they're actually starting to look more into seeing if that is a marker for Pitt Hopkins, because originally it wasn't, like one of the signs. But now we're finding that a lot of the kiddos have it. The more you talk to your families, the more you are learning more about, things that each kiddo has.
They randomly don't have tendons in their thumbs. So Sofia's right thumb doesn't have a tendon, so she can't flex her thumb like this, and she has no wrinkles on the top where your knuckle is, where you bend it. It's like that's how we put all these things together.
Yeah. So when we were,
It's a big puzzle.
Yeah.
So when we read about the Pitt, that it could potentially be Pitt Hopkins, then from there, we watched the video. I ended up reaching out to that mom, and now. So we were messaging and we were comparing. She's like, take a picture of her feet, take a picture of her hands, and because those are truly markers for Pitt Hopkins. And we were just comparing them. And she was like, go take a picture of her knuckle, her thumb. And sure enough, they have the same. So one of their hands, this girl, Alexandra, and her, both of their right hands are both missing the tendon. And
a lot of the kids are, though.
A lot of the kids are, but this was one that we were comparing, while we were searching for our diagnosis. And I think that was the one where I was like, all right, I think this is it.
Before we got our official results, we kind of knew.
Yeah, we did. So we had, from the end of August to November 13th is our diagnosis day. So we knew from about the end of August that this was what we were up against and what we were thinking Sofia was going to be diagnosed with. So we definitely had some time to prepare. I thought I was going to be fine when they got the news and when he officially told us, you officially get that label. And it was like I relived it all over again. But I would say your hardest cries are in the beginning, and I cry, but now I cry quicker and I recover quicker, where when you first got that news, it was like you cried for weeks.
And then did you just have a moment where you kind of shifted your perception of it, where you had your good cry? As a mom, I would think that I would have that good cry and then just be like, from here on out, it's joy and also a lot of fear, I'm sure. But did you have a switch?
Yeah, I think...
yeah, definitely.
I think once you get past the news and then you decide...
I think it's
are you going to sit back and are you going to cry, or are you going to take it on and beat the odds that are against you? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we wanted to do, because we also don't want Sofia to feel like we're sad and that we don't want her, because that's not the case at all. We wouldn't trade what we were given for the world. And I think that was a switch we had too, that we realized that this was going to be a journey that we were chosen for, mm-hmm. and that we're going to take it on and do it the best we can, because our whole life did change, but I would say it changed for the better too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we found light in our situation. I think that's one big thing you do got to find.
So those little moments that maybe some people take for granted are huge, massive moments to you, and that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I think too, it's with parents who aren't in this special needs journey, it's a good reminder to us to not take little things like that for granted.
Yeah, and you can't blame anybody, because if your kids have a typical life, you don't know any different. Mm-hmm. You don't wish you know, you don't wish that upon anyone to have their kid struggle through anything, but I mean, like, you see moms at the park or parents on their phones and their kids are running around, you know, and they look at Sofia like, that kid looks a little older, you know, but they don't even say anything.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think a lot of our community of shouters, they're learning a lot about all of our Go Shout Love kiddos and how to approach them and how to treat their families, and like certain things that maybe you don't say to a family with special needs. But if you could give any advice to families out there raising their own kids, what would you say to them in regards if they see Sofia out at the playground?
Come say hi to us. For me, I think I'm past the point of having courage to go out. You know, we try to live a typical life as possible. I've had her going out to parks since she was 5-6 months old. But some special needs moms, it takes a lot to go out. And so you really can make that mom's day by saying hi, asking her how she's doing, you know, ask about her child. They're out, so they want to talk about it. They're fine they got the courage to go out and to go to the park and bring their kid out in public. So they're totally, I would say you want to feel typical too. You want that feeling, because when you have a title of special needs attached to you now, any little thing, just say hi. That's all. When you say,
tell her how cute she is in her glasses.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't expect things of people, but you know, I think people need to be more aware that there are special needs kids out there. They may look typical, but you know, if they say, "Oh, is she walking?" and you say, "No, you know, she has a rare genetic disorder." That's what we've been starting to do, is explain, because you'll get at this age when we're 2 or over.
She's not a baby anymore. She
you
looks like a toddler.
We were just going with a long, awkward silence for a while in public at the supermarket or wherever we were, and now we're just like, yeah, she actually has a rare genetic disorder, and people just kind of don't know what to say to you, you know, and that's fine. But
it'd be nice, and that's part of why we want to share her journey, because we want people to know that we're proud of it. We're proud of her, and we're proud. We may not love Pitt Hopkins, but, you know, we're proud of it too, because she is beating, you know, odds that are against her, and it's our life, and we're not going to be ashamed of it. We're going to be proud. And
definitely not.
Well, we're really excited to shout love for her and to support you guys. And I know personally from all of these families, I know that it's a very lonely place sometimes, and so we all want to be here to surround you with love and shout loud for you guys.
No, we appreciate it. I think the biggest thing for people too is just like presume competence with kids with special needs if you see them, and then also like be accepting. You know, I think inclusion is coming a long way.
It is.
So that's great. But I mean, we recently for the conference we traveled with her, and you know, you can see different types of people, and people staring at us on the plane and things like that, you know, and that's, as a parent, you know, it can get very angry, but
and you get anxious too, because you worry about everyone else, and they're turning around looking at you and wondering why we can't calm her down, or but you know, just I guess always don't judge a book, really.
Right. You don't know what people are going through. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's one lesson we definitely have learned. You don't know what people are going through.
No matter who that, no matter, even if they're not special needs, you don't know.
Who's Sofia's best friend?
Eveline and Paige.
Do they live close by?
They do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So they can go on play dates at the
park.
park.
We're like the 3 surrounding towns.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we all live about 10 minutes from each other.
Are they all the same age?
So Eveline and Sofia, they're both 2, and then Paige is 1. Oh. But Paige looks like she's the same age as them, so so they totally all look like.
They have pool parties.
We have pool parties. We go to the park. Like I never thought I think that was one of my concerns was that Sophia may not have friends. And that when we got our diagnosis, I was like, she's not going to have friends, because that's one thing, you want. And
fear, yeah.
And yeah, it was a fear. And then we connected with this respite center, and now she has friends for life in these two girls. And
Jill, you can't forget Jill.
Oh yeah, we can't forget Jill. So because I do stay home, we do need to have a little money coming in, some extra money to help. So when Sophia was 4 months old, I began with an 8-year-old. Her name's Jill. Now she's 10, but I pick her up after school every day, 2:30 to 6. We go to her activities, and I watch her in the summer as well. So she does camp 1 week, and then other weeks we'll do activities.
She's Sophia's big sister.
She is, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sophia gets so much joy being around her, and it was one of the best decisions that I made was finding, and now their whole family has become our family. We can count on them, and they count on us, and it's awesome. Words of advice she would give me, I'm like, this girl, I was like, that's great advice.
Well, and it's an amazing gift that she can be around Sophia. I mean,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised at all if she does something in the future in regards to a little girl like her. You know what I mean?
It's definitely going to have a positive impact on her life.
You're making a big impact, that's for sure.
Tyler, I can only imagine, like, as a husband and as a father, like, I am naturally like a fixer.
Yeah.
And I want, when things aren't working the way that they are supposed to, or how you envision them, it's like, what can I do to make this, easier or better? And you guys were handed a situation that you can't really fix.
No.
But how have you, as a husband and father, how has this journey can you talk about how it's impacted your relationship as a couple, and where you've found strength and even, to the point where you're comfortable, even challenges, like how has that challenged the relationship? I don't know if there's a better way to
I think you nailed it.
No, yeah, that's an excellent question with a lot of parts to touch on. But I think I am definitely a fixer, and I think
he's an engineer.
So literally.
So when you said that, I started laughing.
So I think the hardest thing as a dad was knowing that there's no cure, for that, and we're fortunate enough. Mass General has one of 3 clinics in the world for Pitt Hopkins. So we'd go, went there, and I think the first time I went there was December, and they're like, we're the largest clinic in the world. We've seen 35 patients, and you're just like, oh my gosh, So I think that's definitely a challenge as a father, because you just want to help, but at the same time, it's nothing life-threatening, so we're blessed.
Yeah, because it's not just a surgery that can fix it or help. It's just, how her system's made, how she's made, but we also wouldn't change it.
I think as far as what it's taught me is, obviously, I've said before, don't take anything for granted. Patience, I never get frustrated with her. I think that's one of my gifts is patience. She can scream in my ear all day, and luckily I can handle it. But I think as far as our relationship is patience too, and it's a challenge on us because, it's stressful.
There's a lot of unknowns.
There's a lot of unknowns. Stephanie's constantly driving Sophia around to appointments and scheduling her therapies, and we have, on top of all our therapies that we have probably average 1 doctor appointment a week, whether it's in Boston or whatnot, to manage her care. I think that's just tough on any couple, especially with your first child, too,
Because it's a card we weren't planning for.
No one is, but yeah. as far as our relationship, I mean, I think we've done pretty well considering. I mean, you don't sleep, Sofia will wake up at any hour of the night and be up for 3 hours. So, when we get a full night's sleep, that's great. And, so that, lack of sleep, crying, stress, no answers, it's hard. But we're best friends, so I think that helps.
How long have you guys been married?
We're bad.
We just had our anniversary.
It's okay. I thought I was 34, so it's no big deal.
4. It was our fourth.
So, yeah, we were married in June 2014.
How did you guys meet?
Met in Providence at a bar, establishment.
A restaurant.
So many love stories begin that way. Crazy.
Yeah. And then we lived in Boston. And we kind of just knew, right?
Yeah.
We
just kind of worked.
My dad said, "You've been living with that Stefanie girl for a long time." He's like, "You guys are pretty serious." I said, "Yeah, I think we're going to move to Boston." So the rest is history.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. And as a husband, I guess, with a family of special needs, just assume you don't do anything right. Just go with it, right? You go from there.
I think that's every husband out there. Well, that's great.
When I talk about Sofia, it just makes me cry. But we had a dad's talk at the conference, and to see some of the dads open up, and unfortunately, we only had an hour because it was a conference setup, so it was scheduled. But we all left there and said that would have been great if it was 4 hours long. I mean, because the dad just you absorb everything. You kind of hold it in. You don't talk about it. So,
if you had to give advice to a dad that's got a new rare diagnosis, what would you tell that guy man to man?
Well, number one, there's hope. And feel free to reach out whenever. I don't know. What else?
It's okay to use Kleenexes.
Yeah. It's okay to use Kleenexes. That, your child will teach you things that it's truly a blessing. Your child will teach you things that you'd never expect to learn, and that you're fortunate. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. I think too, to talk to people, because I'm not a talker. Like I don't not at all as far as like expressing my feelings or stuff like that. But it was good. It was definitely good to see other fathers do that, and I think that is definitely helpful. Most dads are the ones that are out at work. And we even talked to dads spoke up that said they didn't know how to handle it, so they'd pick up extra jobs or work longer because they just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
That made you tear up too. So, but yeah, I think that's probably why 80% of special needs families end in divorce.
Yeah.
So
80%.
Yeah.
Which we were like, oh my gosh.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's probably
something you don't plan for.
It's the
stress,
financial strain, the stress. Obviously, the husband's not opening up and probably don't know how to deal with it because you're supposed to be tough. You're the provider. That sounds very old school to say, but it's not. But I just think that's how guys are supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree. Are you guys able to have a couple date nights ever?
Yeah, once in a while. But honestly, we're so tired by the end of the day. We have gone on dates and we have a sitter stay till 10 o'clock and we're like, what do we do? Like, we're ready to go home at 8.
We want to watch Netflix. Yeah. Lounge with our kiddo.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a big thing is we definitely we do what we can to still enjoy life too. Mm-hmm. And even though this is what surrounds our world, we also want to enjoy the outside. And we put Sophie in our backpack and we go for hikes and walks. And that's one thing that we definitely enjoy as a family.
Yeah, she loves to do anything that a typical kid would do. So we try to make that make
make it
possible
work
for her. Yeah.
Just out of my curiosity, what's the prognosis for her as far as getting around? Will she need a wheelchair, or will she be able to walk? Do you guys know?
They think that we're very, very fortunate that doctors, from how she's progressing, think she'll walk. Okay. But they said she'll also, because they don't know too much about Pitt Hopkins, they said that she's going to create her own path. So in the same sentence, they say those two things. And, we ask about where the location of her mutation is, and they say it's on the better half of the gene, but it's significant. So, it's like basically her communication.
So it's really unknown.
Yeah, her communication stops. But I mean, she's
so
showing.
we're looking into wheelchairs and whatnot, because for school now, she'll be in the special education department, and you need, even if she is mobile, you still need a type of chair to get transportation. And if they're going outside, if it's a long walk, her endurance, depending on how her endurance is, they'll need some type of chair or stroller to move her around the school and get her to different places. It's really unknown, and for me, I'm a planner. I'm an event planner, and to have to come to the realization that I don't know, it drove me crazy. But now I think I've learned to enjoy the ride and enjoy the journey, because so I think that's one big thing she taught me, is that always planning isn't, always planning and knowing isn't the best thing either. So, and
you can't put a timetable on anything. So, I think that was your biggest challenge, was I thought she was going to crawl by her second birthday, and she's not. So it's just kind of take each day one at a time. And
that's one thing I think I'm doing better at, because at times you get upset, but now I'm seeing where she is going and what she is doing, and it's so amazing. So cool. The other day, so one of my dreams was, I just wanted her to go and make it over to her bookshelf and take all the books out of her bookshelf and want to read books with me. So the other day, she made it from our living room all the way over to her little basket over there that has books in it. And
she does a combo of what? She she can get into the sit, and she'll fall.
She'll put herself back in the crawl. Then she'll put herself into the sit. But
she falls and rolls. And
she makes it over there. And
it's cute.
And there were toys all around the living room. And she would she would play with it for a second, and her goal was to make it over to the basket. And she did. Aww. And she took out a book, and she took out a couple, and we just totally picked her up, and we started reading books with her, because that was a dream I had, and she did it. And that was a moment that
was cool.
Yeah. Aww. It was one of those proud mom moments.
Another little victory.
Yes.
Yep.
Did you call them inch stones earlier versus milestones?
Inch stones, yeah.
That's what we talk about in the it's big in our community of Pitt Hopkins. So
Paige has STXBP1, and it's even more rare than Sofia's. There's about 200, I think, in the world, and they sold this bracelet with hashtag inch stones. So you can follow that on social media and see some stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
I like
so
that.
It's getting them to their milestones, and
inch by inch.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I think, sometimes you end up adding milestones in, something that's her transitioning into the sit. That probably is an inch stone, but for us, it was 100% a milestone. It was something even that week before she did it. One of my friends from Michigan, she said, "When do you think?" She's like, "Sophia's doing so well. Do you think she's gonna sit up soon, on independently?" And I was like, honestly, I don't know. It's I don't know if she can motor map that in her brain yet, figure it out. And literally 2 days later, she did it, and I was like, oh my gosh! So it becomes this surprise and celebration.
Yeah.
The night she sat up, she had a party in her crib because she knew that she was sitting up and that she
clapped for herself. Then
she was clapping, and
she
partied till about 8:30 that night. When bedtime is 7 on the dot, she tells us her eyes just get tired, and we know she starts rubbing them. Bedtime.
She spit up twice because she got so riled up.
So we had to put her in the bath, and she was clapping in the bath.
Oh, so it was so
when
sweet.
We say it was a celebration, it was a celebration.
She knew she accomplished something she's been trying to accomplish.
And when she does something new, she will clap for herself. She totally knows it.
Yep. Sofia runs in Team Hoyt. It's the guy who's been pushing his son with cerebral palsy.
Oh, yeah.
Rick and Dick Hoyt.
They go all over the world.
All over the world, and we didn't realize.
But one of their big races is the Boston Marathon.
Yeah. We didn't realize how far-reaching they are. They have Team Hoyt teams now across the country and internationally. So Sofia's a little Team Hoyt racer. It's pretty amazing.
So do one of you run with her?
We're starting.
We're starting to.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've been
amazing.
running. Yeah. So there's a lady that runs to support the respite center that she goes to that is also involved with Team Hoyt, and she reached out to Stefanie and said, "Can I push Sofia?" a few months ago. So,
and I was like, absolutely. And then we went to one event, and now she's done 3 or 4 already. So
it's pretty amazing.
Well, that's incredible.
That was another community now we're part of, and I think one of the biggest things is asking and connecting with different people within your community. I think it makes you not feel alone, especially since most of your friends within Pitt Hopkins or any rare genetic disorder, is scattered throughout the world, where, you want to find people close by too that you can lean on and connect with. So joining groups was a big part of what we do as well.
So you mentioned to me the saying "hanging on to hope," and then we decided as a team to maybe put this cute little sloth on the tee because they're adorable. Yeah. But you guys have sort of a connection to sloths now that we found out. Is that right?
We do.
Our honeymoon was in the sloth capital of the world, in Costa Rica.
We went to Costa Rica. And we zip-lined. We saw some sloths. So we saw them hanging just like the T-shirt. So that was super cool. Yep. I was like, oh my gosh.
And they poop every 10 days. So it's kind of like Sofia, I guess.
That's awesome. So it was just meant to be that T-shirt. It was perfect. You guys are amazing. Thanks for sharing your story with us. I know it can be kind of frightening putting yourself out there, but if you can connect with other kiddos going through this, I know that one difference is huge.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
At Go Shout Love, we do amazing things for amazing families with kids on rare medical journeys. Each month, we shout love for a featured family through the sale of creative apparel inspired by the child. Every purchase in September will benefit Sofia and her family by helping pay for therapies not covered by insurance. Despite being nonverbal, her life shouts volumes of joy and hope to all who meet her. Join us in shouting love for Sofia in September through the purchase of a Sofia illustration, a Hang On to Hope t-shirt, or by starting your monthly t-shirt subscription at our website goshout.love. Thanks for listening and supporting Sofia and her family. Until next time, keep shouting love.